Okay, I'm trying this again. It's week number 2 for me as a YouTuber, and welcome to my channel. I hope you're coming back, or maybe you're here for the first time. I don't know. Anyway, how was my first week as a YouTuber? Let me talk about that. First off, well, I thought it was pretty good. I promoted my video, a couple of shorts on the YouTube promotions thing, and I woke up the next morning and discovered that I had 400 and something subscribers. So I was very, very excited about that until I looked in further and discovered that those type of subscribers will not count for the purposes of monetizing this channel. I need 1,000 subscribers. And I was all excited. 400 subscribers in overnight. All right, I'll be there in no time at all. But no, lo and behold, they do not count. So, if you are one of those people who subscribed from the promotions thing, I think I put down India and I don't know, a couple of other places because there's a lot of English speaking people there. So I put down India as one of the places to be promoted in. If you are one of those people and you would like to do me a big, 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 tremendous favor, unsubscribe and then go to my main page on the YouTube thing and then resubscribe on that. So your subscription will be counted towards my monetization. I hope that's okay with YouTube. Anyway, so I'm not going to promote anymore. I don't think. I don't know. I might. Anyway, so what am I going to talk about today? Today, well, I'm eventually going to read a short story by Mark Twain once more. Not a short story, an essay about Benjamin Franklin. I think Mark Twain, after reading this essay, he didn't really take too kindly to Mr. Twain. Mark Twain didn't take. I can't speak. Why am I trying to be a YouTuber if I can't even speak English? What I'm trying to say is, Mark Twain didn't think too highly of Benjamin Franklin, because Benjamin Franklin he wrote this. He had all kinds of sayings that Benjamin Franklin just found annoying. They were always wanting him to. Benjamin Franklin always had these words of wisdom he was putting out to people. You gotta early to bed, early to rise, makes them unhealthy. Go to bed early, make your bed, all that kind of. They always often are offering up advice and trying to be the expert on everything. You know, and that's what I wanted to start off talking about today is people who love to be experts, people who love to be big shots, people who love to offer you advice, give their opinion, and just tell you what to do. And they can't possibly be wrong. They are absolutely right. Now, what do we call those kind of people? Well, there's jerk. Uh, I don't know. There's a word. Jerk. Well, sometimes we say a-hole. And that stands for, I don't know, should I say it? Is it good to cuss on YouTube, especially a beginning YouTuber? I know I've heard all kind of language on YouTube, but for a beginning YouTuber, I don't know if it's such a good idea. But I'm just going to say it. Assholes. Assholes are obnoxious people who just. I don't know what I'm talking about here, but I just don't like them. I don't like assholes. I've always had an aversion to assholes. And that's just the way it is. But even sometimes I am in it. We're all assholes at one point or another, aren't we? But then most of us, it's because of some stress in life or something's going. You got a flat tire, you're running out of gas, you can't make ends meet, and you got a dead end job, or your kid's sick, or whatever. You can't afford groceries this week, or whatever. A lot of us are just on edge about various things that are going on in your life, and you just treat people bad, and you're an asshole. But then you're sorry for it and you apologize and you just go on with your life and it's okay because everybody does that and people understand. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who are, I don't know, they're just assholes. That's the part of their personality. That's just what they are. They're assholes. And I, I've come to I've come to discover that the world of assholes, there are two types of assholes, two main types of assholes. You know, like in diabetes, there's type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. You got your juvenile diabetes and your later onset diabetes. Thank God I don't have diabetes. I have that running in my family, but I didn't get it, thank God. Anyway, so there's type 1 diabetes, which you get as a kid, juvenile diabetes. And then people who eat a lot and stuff, a lot of times they'll develop adult onset diabetes. But they're both diabetes. They're both diabetic people. So diabetes, they're diabetic. Same thing with assholes. There's assholes. There's two types of okay. Here are the two types of assholes. I'm not thinking clearly. There are two types of assholes. The type 1 asshole is the kind of person. He has the I was reading about the Dunning-Kruger effect. The person who he has a high opinion of himself, but in reality, he doesn't really understand what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But don't tell him that because he thinks he knows it all. There's no way he could be wrong. No way, no possible way. He just overestimates himself. And most of the people who are really educated people aren't these kind of people because the more you learn, the more you read, the more you study about things, the more you understand how much you do not know. So truly educated people are usually not an asshole. But this leads to type 2 assholes. Asshole type 2. And as annoying as type 1 asshole people are, they are very annoying. But they just don't understand how much of an asshole they are. Well, type 2 assholes. Yeah, I can't deal with them. Because the type 2 assholes, these are the people who really are great. They know exactly what they're doing. They know, and they're not wrong. And that's what makes them. And they know it, and they know they're way better than you, and way better than everybody else. And nobody else is correct most of the time. And that makes and it is. I'm at a loss for words. How much they bother me. I don't know what I'm doing. This YouTubing thing is hard. You know, I just talk it off the top of my head. Like I wrote some notes here, but I don't know. I don't know what to do. Anyway, these type 2 assholes. I don't know. Like who was it? Well, in Mark Twain's opinion, Benjamin Franklin was that asshole. Was a type 2 asshole in my classification of assholes. And I printed out some information about Mr. Benjamin Franklin. What can I say about Benjamin Franklin was born on January 17th in 1706 in Boston, Massachusetts. I never could pronounce one of those states. Massachusetts. Boston, Mass. He was born to Josiah Franklin and Abiah Folger. He had only 2 years of formal schooling, largely self-taught through reading. Now, that's pretty impressive. He worked as an apprentice to his brother James, a printer, where he developed skills in publishing. Career and achievements. Printing and publishing. He established his own printing business in Philadelphia, published Poor Richard's Almanac from 1732 to 1758, which became highly popular. Inventions. He was a jack of all trades. He did a little bit of everything. He invented the lighting rod, the bifocal glasses, got mine right here, and the Franklin stove. Scientific contributions: conducted experiments in electricity, including the famous kite experiment, And he coined terms like battery and conductor. That's pretty impressive. Civic leadership. Founded institutions such as the American Philosophical Society, the Library Company of Philadelphia, and the University of Philadelphia. I believe that is considered an Ivy League university. Philanthropy. He supported public projects such as the first volunteer fire department and the improvement of street lighting. That is a good thing. I don't like walking around in the dark, not being able to see anything. His political career. Colonial leadership. He played a key role in uniting the colonies, served as Pennsylvania's colonial representative in London. Revolutionary role. He helped draft the Declaration of Independence in 1776. Diplomacy. He served as the United States ambassador to France, securing French support during the American Revolution. Thank God for you. Thank God for the French. I know we don't get along a lot of times. French don't like us, and sometimes we say bad things about the French, but we're very grateful to the French because we wouldn't exist without the French. Constitutional contributions. He was a delegate at the Constitutional Convention in 1787 and supported the U.S. Constitution. His personal life, he was married to Deborah Reed in 1730. He had 3 children, including William Franklin, who sided with the British during the Revolution. Oh, can you imagine that? That must have caused some problems, some familial problems there with fighting on 2 separate sides. Autobiography. He wrote his autobiography entitled The Autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, which is considered a classic work of American literature. Well, I haven't read it, so. And his legacy is a cultural icon. He is known as one of the most influential founding fathers. Namesakes. Numerous places, schools, and institutions are named after him, including Franklin County. There are Franklin counties in several different states of the United States. Currency. Oh, this is a good one. His portrait appears on the $100 bill. And if I had a $100 bill in my wallet, which I don't even have my wallet here with me, I would pull it out and show it to you. But I usually don't carry around big money like that. But if you ever see a $100 bill, Ben Franklin's right there staring at you. Philosophy. He advocated for self-improvement, education, and civic responsibility. He died on April 17th, 1790 in Philadelphia at the ripe old age of 84, which was pretty damn old in 1790. Over 20,000 people attended his funeral. That's impressive. 20,000 people. I don't think there can be, I'll be lucky to have 2 people at my funeral. Anyway, Franklin's diverse contributions to science, politics, and society solidify his legacy as a Renaissance figure of American history. Also, ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info. I'm not going to do that. I trust you, ChatGPT. Okay. So, Mark Twain, he found him as I'm going to talk about something else for a minute. You know, I recently lost a lot of weight, about 65, 70 pounds. And so I decided to go to the doctor and adjust some of my high blood pressure medication. And I told her about that I lost some weight and how things were going. She said, "Well, that's great." And she said, "I wonder if you've lost some muscle mass there." And I said, "Well, I think I probably did because I have this scale that shows your body fat and stuff like that, and your muscle percentage." And anyway, she told me I should be eating more. I should probably be eating more protein in my diet. She told me I needed for every kilogram of body weight. Now we use pounds in the United States, but during medical purposes, we use kilograms, I guess. Anyway, I need 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight, and that's a lot of protein. So what did I do? I ate more meat and stuff, and I also bought some of these protein drinks, these little shakes you drink them. Well, I drink for a couple of days, I drink 3 of those things each day, 3 protein drinks. Because it's hard to get a lot of protein. It's a lot of calories eating meat and stuff. So I drank these protein drinks. I'm going to recommend that you don't drink that many protein drinks because you know what? They really clog you up. I was clogged. Okay, here's the part where it gets kind of graphic. It was just a pain. And this is the part where it all ties together. I was clogged up and I just couldn't get rid of it. And I would just think, the literal asshole is a lot like the metaphorical asshole. But I'm just sitting there. It just bothers me not getting rid of this stuff. I just got this big mass of stuff inside of me. And I just can't get it out, and it's making me angry, and I feel horrible. And oh God, no! I'm getting red in the face, and it just frustrates me and frustrates me. It won't go away. Anyway, but so that's what assholes are like. They just want you to leave you alone. They won't go away. And it just makes me. This makes me. I don't know what to do. Anyway, that's the way they are. Okay, I'm gonna read the story now. Now I was gonna record the voice, and then put little cartoon things like I did with this last one, but it's just so hard to read. I make a lot of mistakes. When I'm trying to read, I stumble, I stutter, I don't know what to do. So what I'm going to do on this time, I'm just going to read it here, and I'll stop if I want to say something. If I make a mistake, you'll just have to deal with it. Anyway, here is the story. The essay. It's not a story. It's an essay by Benjamin Franklin. Now, I had the place where this was. It was originally published in some magazine, but I don't have that copy of it here. Anyway, it's called The Late Benjamin Franklin, and it's by Mark Twain. And it starts off with a quotation by Benjamin Franklin. Here's that quotation. Never put off till tomorrow what you could do day after tomorrow just as well. Now, that doesn't sound like an asshole thing to say, but he starts off that way. Never put off till tomorrow what you could do day after tomorrow just as well. BF. Okay, now here's what Mark Twain has to say. Here's what he has to say. Whoop. This party was one of those persons whom they call philosophers. He was twins being born simultaneously. See, I messed up there. He was twins being born simultaneously in 2 different houses in the city of Boston. These houses remain unto this day and have signs upon them worded in accordance with the facts. The signs are considered well enough to have, though not necessary, because the inhabitants point out the 2 birthplaces to the stranger anyhow, and sometimes as often as several times in the same day. The subject of this memoir was of a vicious disposition, and early squandered his talents on the invention of maxims and aphorisms calculated to inflict suffering upon the rising generation of all subsequent ages. His simplest acts also were contrived with a view to their being held up for the emulation of boys forever, boys who might otherwise have been happy. It was in this spirit that he became the son of a soap boiler. And probably for no other reason than that, the efforts of all future boys who tried to be anything might be looked upon with suspicion unless they were the sons of soap boilers. With a malevolence which is without parallel in history, he would work all day and then sit up nights and let on to be studying algebra by the light of a smoldering fire, so that all other boys might have to do that also, or else have Benjamin Franklin thrown up to them. But Benjamin Franklin would never do that. That's me. Anyway, not satisfied with these proceedings, he had a fashion of living wholly on bread and water, and studying astronomy at mealtime, a thing which has brought affliction to millions of boys since, whose fathers had read Franklin's pernicious autobiography. He just wants to make your eyes roll. Franklin is so great. Why can't you be like Benjamin Franklin? Okay, going on. His maxims were full of animosity towards boys. Nowadays, a boy cannot follow out a single natural instinct without tumbling over some of those everlasting aphorisms and hearing from Franklin on the spot. If he buys 2 cents worth of peanuts, his father says, "Remember what Franklin has said, my son, a groat a day's a penny a year." And the comfort is all gone out of those peanuts. If he wants to spin his top when he has done work, his father quotes, "Procrastination is the thief of time." If he does a virtuous action, he never gets anything for it because virtue is his own reward. And that boy is hounded to death and robbed of his natural rest because Franklin said once in one of his inspired flights of malignity, and here it is: "Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy and wealthy and wise." Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy and wealthy and wise. As if it were any object to a boy to be healthy and wealthy and wise on such terms. The sorrow that that maxim has cost me through my parents experimenting on me with it, tongue cannot tell. The legitimate result is my present state of general debility, indigence, and mental aberration. My parents used to have me up before 9 o'clock in the morning sometimes when I was a boy. If they had let me take my natural rest, where would I be now? Keeping store, no doubt, and respected by all. And what an adroit old adventurer the subject of this memoir was. In order to get a chance to fly his kite on Sunday, he used to hang a key on the string and let on to be fishing for lightning. And a guileless public would go home chirping about his wisdom and genius. My grandfather knew him well, and he says Franklin was always fixed, always ready. If a boy, if a body during his old age happened on him unexpectedly when he was catching flies or making mud pies or sliding on a cellar door, he would immediately look wise and rip out a maxim and walk off with his nose in the air and his cap turned wrong side before, trying to appear absent-minded and eccentric. He was a hard lot. Oh boy. You see, now this is the asshole business I'm talking about. The people who are just so proud of themselves and they want you to know it. They want to be a big shot and they just love it. Oh my God, I can't stand those people. Quit trying to be a big shot. Don't be like that. Okay, going on. Back to Mark Twain. To the subject of this memoir belongs the honor of recommending the Army to go back to bow and arrows in the place of bayonets and muskets. He observed, with his customary force, that the bayonet was very well under some circumstances, but that he doubted whether it could be used with accuracy at long range. Benjamin Franklin did a great many notable things for his country and made her young name to be honored in many lands as the mother of such a son. It is not the idea of this memoir to ignore that or to cover it up. No, the simple idea of it is to snub those pretentious maxims of his, which he worked up with a great show of originality out of truisms that had become wearisome platitudes as early as the dispersion from Babel, and also to snub his stove and his military inspirations, his unseemly endeavor to make himself conspicuous when he entered Philadelphia, and his flying his kite and fooling away his time in all sorts of such ways when he ought to have been foraging for soap fat or constructing candles. I merely desired to do away with somewhat of the prevalent calamitous idea. Calamitous idea. I don't use that word. I got to start using the word. Calamitous. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Anyway, I merely desired to do away with somewhat of the prevalent calamitous idea among heads of families that Franklin acquired his great genius by working for nothing, studying by moonlight, and getting up in the night instead of waiting till morning. And that this program, rigidly inflicted, will make a Franklin of every father's fool. It is time these gentlemen were finding out that these execrable eccentricities of instinct and conduct are only the evidences of genius, not the creators of it. I wish I had been the father of my parents long enough to make them comprehend this truth and thus prepare them to let their son have an easier time of it. When I was a child, I had to boil soap, notwithstanding my father was wealthy. And I also had to get up early and study geometry at breakfast and peddle my own poetry and do everything just as Franklin did in the solemn hope that I would be a Franklin someday. And here I am. Well, that's it. The Late Benjamin Franklin by Mark Twain. Thanks for being here. Bye bye.